Good morning. Time now is 11:05. Thank you for joining this digital weather now. I'm going to talk about the forecast for you. Starting just a couple minutes after 11 here. Thank you for watching Roku, Amazon Fire, maybe in the news app, the weather app. Reminder, of course, you can listen, you can watch, get the forecast information that way. But also, if you would like to ask a question, maybe have me clarify an aspect of the forecast, WTOC TV Facebook page and the WTOC 11 Twitter application, or that's going to be our handle on Twitter. So just navigate over to those two spots. I would be more than happy to converse with you. Again, I hope your Monday started off on a decent note. Forecast-wise, it did. Those storms yesterday evening knocked out some power there, the south and the southeast side. Good weather for linemen to get out. They quickly have restored that. And low country coastal empire, we are dry right now. Safe Touch Security First Alert Live Radar. Kind of have it in a looping mode with clouds on. Just to let you know, sunshine breaking out I-95, but a mix of sun and clouds. Kind of a filtered sunshine there. Inland thunderstorms. The nearest activity is west of I-75 near Americus, and we do have that activity continuing to gradually build eastward. Again, it is a very gradual process, but I do expect rain chances to increase a little bit as we go deeper into the day. Now, Safe Touch Security First Alert Live Radar is paused and all scans are dry. All right, and remember in the tease that we started and kind of how we teased this conversation, we are going to be talking about that cold front here in just a moment, looking at the extended forecast. It's not too soon. It's not going to get cold behind it, but that's the technical definition. More or less a cool front, slightly cooler. It looks like Chrissy wants to know how cool we're getting in Sylvania. You have a chance to reach lows overnight temperatures, not highs, afternoon temperatures, but lows in the 60s, highs in the 80s. Again, that's something we'll be watching. Not incredibly cool. It'll still be muggy with chances of rain, but slightly cooler. It looks like we are getting some news questions in here. Laura wants to know about a gator attack on Hilton Head Island. What we know right now, what we can confirm to you is that a person was attacked and killed as a result of that attack by an alligator on Hilton Head Island, the Sea Pines neighborhood or subdivision. Reporter Meredith Parker is working to get details. Of course, we'll be covering that, bringing you the latest in the WTOC News app on Facebook and coming up on a later newscast. So hopefully that helps clarify that for you. Charmaine wants to know if it's a good beach day. I think overall, pretty much, rain chances a little bit more isolated today, and we will get to the quote-unquote cold front news, but right now we're going to go hour by hour walking you through today ahead of that boundary, and we're dry outside right now, going through the morning, going to keep it dry, lunch hour 12 to 1, we are dry. But by 3:30, maybe a pop-up storm Glenn County, maybe some more pop-up showers and storms here inland. And the location as to where rain actually develops later today may be a little different than what this particular forecast model, this run of this one model is saying right now. So just keep that in the back of your head. Because as we go forward, what I think it has right is the amount of rain. I think we're going to see isolated to widely scattered things. And what I mean by that, widely scattered, a lot of space, a lot of dry areas in between the storms that do manage to develop. Going deeper into our evening, here we are, maybe 11, a few sprinkles, isolated showers continuing inland, but gradually weakening. Again, it's a gradual process like yesterday evening. But after sunset, 8:30, 9 o'clock, gradually winding activity down. It self-weakens and eventually falls apart by 3 a.m. Sprinkles outside of the area, a few lingering clouds, maybe some patchy fog, and that is about it. All right, let's talk about what's coming up. And I made a weather graphic this morning that I showed you on the news at daybreak. And I'm now going to pull that up and kind of explain what's going on here. So just bear with me. I'm kind of editing stuff in my weather computer. And I want to show you this because it kind of explains what's going on, you know, the deal with a cold front. And again, today it's well to our west. Putting this in motion, however, and this is really the weather factor, singular here, covering that up, of the work week, this cold front. Now, it's not going to get cold behind it, but Tuesday it's getting closer. So late Tuesday evening, I think tomorrow in general could be a little wetter than today, but still scattered stuff. But we're going to linger the chance for showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two into the evening, overnight hours. Severe weather is not currently forecast is not currently expected, but one or two storms may become a little strong, especially during the daytime hours. And then Wednesday, I've gone ahead, different than some forecast data, but I've gone ahead and lowered your rain chances daytime Wednesday, daytime Thursday, including that Wednesday night, Thursday morning time period, because this front may push just far enough offshore to allow some drier air to work in, slightly, keep that in mind, cooler temperatures to work in, and drying out the forecast. So we may have rain showers lingering into Wednesday morning, and then a little bit cooler there as we get into our Wednesday afternoon and evening. And by I mean cooler, I mean 80s, upper 80s versus lower 90s. So it's not extreme, maybe a little drier, a little bit more refreshing in the morning, maybe upper 60s versus lower to mid 70s. It's possible, something we're monitoring for you. So isolated stuff today, isolated to scattered Tuesday. There's your drier Wednesday into Thursday, and then it does not last long. High pressure brings a southeasterly and southerly flow back in, and we're talking increasing chances for both showers and thunderstorms in the forecast for your weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sissy says cooler and no rain or storms, please. Working on it, but I don't know if I can give you all that. I can get you a little bit cooler with at least a slight rain chance. Lisa, what do I consider a cold front? A cold front, by definition, again, folks, I'm always going to say cold front. This is a definition, not going to stray from it. It is my pet peeve. I'm so sorry if you disagree, but I'm not going to say cool front. I will say cold front, and it's going to be the division between a warmer, more moist air mass and a cooler, slightly drier air mass. So there's no hard and fast definition here other than what I just gave you. So just keep that in mind. You can call it whatever you wish, but I'm going to call it a cold front, and that's just the way I like to do that. And, of course, everyone has their own thing. Good morning, Tiger. Waving back at you, Ashley. Brenda, hello to you. Yes, Jane Sea Pines, again, for those asking, a person was attacked, and that person died as a result of the injuries during the attack by an alligator on Hilton Head Island, specifically the Sea Pines subdivision. And reporter Meredith Parker is working to get even more details, age, you know, mom, dad, brother, sister, whatever they were, more about what happened, what the events leading up to that attack, and they will have that in the later newscast, also in the news app, WTOC.com. Pay attention to details there. We, of course, especially reporter Meredith Parker is working to find out the very latest details. Barbara says, 80s are not that cooler. I know, I didn't say it was going to be that much cooler, just a little bit, folks. And if you don't like it, well, you can't do anything about it. So we're just trying to find some good news. There is nothing else going on in the forecast besides that, so might as well mention it, because that cold front, even if it's not going to get colder, is going to help increase the chance of showers and storms. Remember, it's not just about temperatures here. There are other impacts from the front in the forecast. Slightly greater chance of rain tomorrow into the evening overnight hours. Maybe isolated storms Wednesday, Thursday. But hey, lower 70s, and I may be able to drop these lows a little more. Wanted to play it a little bit conservative here. Of course, it's still August. We don't know how far south this front is going to push. Briefly drier, too. So there is a change up in the air mass and in the forecast behind this boundary that I'm going to call a cold front. Says, no, you can't, but it beats the 90s. Yes, I can, and I'm doing it right now. That is a cold front, even if it's not cold behind it. Ed, no chances for snow. You're going to have to head up to the Arctic Circle if you want to see that, or the higher elevations of the Rockies. They're starting to get a little bit of snow action up at the highest peaks there. You too, Barbara. Glad we can mess around a little bit. And but if you head up to the Rockies you know, Montana, higher elevations up there, already starting to see their first snows. Again, it is just really high elevations. And switching gears here, folks asking about the tropics, we are quiet now. Hurricane Center is not forecasting any tropical development within at least the next 5 days. That's how far their official outlook goes, but really the next 5 to 7, if not 10 days, look pretty quiet. Gulf of Mexico, notice how cloud-free it is. Caribbean, notice how cloud-free it is. We do have a few tropical waves emerging off of the African continent there, but quite a bit of dry air in here, a little bit of Saharan dust, wind shear increasing, still pretty persistent across the Caribbean. We do have also a trough, kind of complexes of storms rolling off of the East Coast, but not expected to develop. So still, as we march closer and closer to the climatological peak of hurricane season, it's still looking pretty quiet. Of course, that can change on a dime, so make sure you stay tuned. Of course, we'll alert you at any changes, and you can find similar maps, track what's going on at any given time at WTOC.com just by looking at the Hurricane Center tab there, and we'll show you that here periodically as activity picks up. The news at daybreak, also in the evening, and in the WTOC weather app. Sean now says not much of a hurricane season. Remember, things can change quickly, and it only takes one big storm in the wrong spot to cause issues. So I don't want to wave that white flag, say we're over, we're done, we're good to go. It's not that kind of a story yet, but cautiously optimistic for the next, 5 to 10 days that it'll be a little bit quieter. You as well, have a great day, Chrissy. Tiffany says, ready for some more snow. I don't know about that. Philip says, ready for the showers to slow down a little. I do think Wednesday, Thursday, especially Wednesday midday into the afternoon and Thursday afternoon, there'll be a little bit of rain, but overall relatively dry. And we've been talking about weather, but also for those tuning in, not noticing too many questions about this, so I've kind of held off on it. But we're going to take you outside with the WTOC Franklin Chevrolet Chatham Parkway Skycam. That's a view of I-16. The first overpass you see is Dean Forest. The second overpass you see in the distance is I-95. A four-vehicle crash this morning on I-95 near the overpass at I-16 did delay traffic substantially. Folks were transported with injuries to the hospital. None were life-threatening. That is good news. Of course, that cleared much earlier this morning. More recently, we did get a report of a crash on Dean Forest, just south of the I-16 overpass, so behind the trees and the camera angle there. But you can see traffic is moving over the bridge in both directions, so that appears to have most likely been cleared. So just wanted to give you a little bit of a traffic update as well. Thank you, Teresa and Lee. Thank you for watching. Of course, appreciate all the kind words. And moral of today's weather story is that it's not going to be a washout. It will be warm and muggy, mind you, and eventually that warmth and that mugginess will give way to a few, we're talking a handful here, of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon into the evening hours. I think really starting to increase the rain chance, but only to those isolated to scattered levels by 3-4 p.m. A rain chance persists through dinner time and then gradually winds down after sunset. By 9-10, we're going to pretty much call it quits after 10 p.m. Excuse me, isolated to widely scattered coverage. And as you can tell, still a little bit of sinus action going on out there. Elevated levels of ragweed and the Chenopod level still a little bit elevated as well. So if you're curious about that, that may be your problem. Karen cannot wait for the cooler weather. You're very welcome for the weather update. Katrina says, yay, cooler weather. Julianne, you have a great day as well. Again, let's talk about high temperatures here. I can break it down for you. Just bear with me. I'm going to pull this up and we can leave on this positive note. I am going to pull this map up for you though, or this weather graphic, and it'll be laying out high temperatures that I expect for the next several days. So I'm just having to look through all my graphics here for a moment. Just bear with me. I'm actually just going to load it up for you 1 second. We're not talking cold air or really cool air, but it will be a little bit cooler as it looks right now, and I may be able to, again, fingers crossed, may be able to lower high temperatures into the maybe mid to upper 80s, 86 to 88. That looks about as cool as it's going to get. I went a little warmer than what some of the data is indicating, and I may be able to cool down some of those overnight lows into the upper 60s to near 70, almost all the way to the city of Savannah. But we're going to play it, a little conservatively, keeping the cards close to the vest here. Upper 80s beats lower to mid 90s. Overnight lows, upper 60s, lower 70s. I think there will be some upper 60s inland versus the low to mid 70s and upper 70s at the beaches, and it will lower our rain chances just a little bit. Vivian now says she's not going to complain. Teresa says heat haters will have victory. And everyone has their different opinions on whether they want hot or cold weather. Mary says, traveling from New York to Georgia on Wednesday, how's it looking then? Overall looks pretty good. The front will be in South Georgia, if not North Florida. North Georgia will be dry, assuming you're flying into Atlanta first, so you look pretty good. Driving in, nothing too crazy, but we may have to linger that isolated to scattered storm chance in the coastal Empire and Low Country. We'll keep you updated on that. In fact, meteorologist Dave Turley is here, going to be fine-tuning the forecast, and he'll have an update coming up on the News at Noon, which you can watch in the WTOC weather app. We'll see you here in about 40 minutes on WTOC.